Okay, so thank you for the introduction. As mentioned, my name is Anthony Cashel. I'm the marketing manager for Pay by Phone. And I'm here to talk to you today about how to go green in an interconnected world. So before we get started, just by a quick show of hands, how many of you have our app on your phone? A few, okay. Maybe I need to try harder when I get back to the office, but it's a good start, it's a good start. So for those of you that don't know who we are, don't know anything about Pay by Phone, we are essentially a cashless parking app. We allow you to pay for your parking via a mobile phone, either via an app, over the telephone, by SMS. What's great about that is you no longer need cash. You don't need to put a ticket in your window. And if your parking is going to expire, you can do it on the move. You don't need to go back to the car and buy a new ticket. Now, we were founded back in the year 2000, long before anybody had any smartphones. And the concept of the business came around when our founder, a man named Philippe Lerouge, a Frenchman, was stood in a rainy car park in Paris waiting to pay for his parking. And he thought, there must be a better way of doing this. There has to be a better way of doing this. And he had the vision to know that that little small Nokia that was in his pocket, that had nothing more than a few phone numbers and Snake on it, was able to transform this really manual process moving forward. So the business was founded, as I mentioned, in the year 2000, and in the intervening period, we've become one of the fastest growing mobile payments companies in the world. To give you a flavor, we handle more than 100 million transactions a year, and we process over 300 million in revenue for our clients. So that's 300 million in parking revenue that we generate and we process for our clients. We've got nearly 100 clients in the UK, and that's a mixture of local authorities and private operators, so people like NCP, Parking Eye, and Britannia. And we're now a wholly owned subsidiary of Volkswagen Financial Services. We were acquired by them in 2016. But really, the story starts, at least for the purpose of this presentation, earlier this year in April 2019, when as a business in the UK, we became carbon neutral. Being really conscious about our own environmental impact and wanting to look at our own green credentials, we started to work with Carbon Footprint Limited to assess our output and work on a plan to both reduce and offset our carbon emissions. And we did that through a really rigorous assessment, and earlier this year we achieved the status of becoming carbon neutral. Now, the purpose of Pay by Phone is pretty simple, really. It's to simplify your journey so you can focus on the things that matter most. So simplifying a pretty outdated process of walking to a machine, finding cash, using cash, buying a ticket, and giving you back that little bit more time to do the things that matter to you. That might be spending more time with the kids, that might be doing a little bit more work, that might be going to work out a little bit more. Everybody has things that matter to them, and it's about giving you back that personal time. And in the same way, there's many things that matter to Pay by Phone as a company. We have lots of initiatives, we have lots of things that we care about, and one of the biggest things that we care about is actually the environment. And so this now leads into the topic that I want to talk to you a little bit more about today, and how we are using our platform and our initiatives to tackle some of the big questions. So I'm guessing everybody here has heard about the climate emergency, right? And earlier this year, the IPCC confirmed actually our worst fear, which is that if we don't change the way we work and the way we live, we'll face a global climate disaster in the years to come. And I think there's a lot of conversation about that. It doesn't matter whether you turn on the TV, pick up a newspaper, a magazine, go online. Climate change is dominating the global conversation in the world today. And it's actually no secret that more than 50% of local authorities in the UK have declared a climate emergency. Now, this is a pretty startling fact. It's a pretty concerning fact. And as a company that has clients that are made up, 80% of which are made up of local authorities, it's really important that we as a partner can work with our clients to help them tackle these big challenges. And then that's exactly what we tried to do. So becoming carbon neutral was really the first step on that journey. It allowed us to get our own house in order so we could then go out, have conversations with our clients about how can we now use this good work to affect the things that you're working on and the challenges that you have. So what can companies do? Actually, there's a lot of things we can do, and it's not as complicated as everybody might seem or think. There's big initiatives, there's small initiatives, but I think it's about making a start and helping to make a difference. And quite often it's more than just being environmentally friendly. Everybody here tries to do their bit, I'm sure. We can all recycle our cardboard, make sure the glass goes in the bucket. buy fair trade coffee, all of the things which in our personal lives help us to make that personal contribution. But actually, for business, that type of activity is not enough to really generate real change and to move the needle forward. We need to look at a way in which we can actually operate in a way that safeguards the future. And that entails looking at every stage of your value chain and asking the question, is there something that we can do here that makes us a little bit more sustainable? Is there something that we can do that will help us make a difference long term? And look to develop sustainable products and services. So consumers are very savvy these days. They're looking for green credentials of organizations, and they're making purchase decisions based on the way that company lives its life, builds its values, and brings its products to market. So no matter how good your product or service may be short term, if long term you don't have that sustainability practice or sustainability agenda in place, and if you're not looking with green credentials and environmentally conscious thinking, you will be found out, and it will start to affect your business. And so in that way, it's not just the right thing to do to move environmental consciousness to the top of your internal agenda. It actually starts to create real value for stakeholders in your business. Individually, as I mentioned, we can all make a difference, but businesses really need to lead the way to enable us individually as consumers to have a bigger impact. And so at Pay by Phone, we're starting to affect our value chain and have conversations with our clients about how we can do a better job. How can we help our 80% of clients that are local authorities who've declared climate emergencies to actually move the needle and make a difference? Well, we're doing that through a program called Meters for Trees. And Meters for Trees helps forward-thinking councils combat air pollution by reducing the number of pay and display machines that are on the street and replacing them with our cashless parking service. So this has two effects. It really helps us to support our rapid growth plans, but it also helps tackle the problems that our clients have in terms of their environmental emergency. Now you might be thinking, okay, I understand cashless parking, I see the pay and display machines on the street, but how does removing a pay and display machine actually have a positive impact on the environment? Well, we started to work with the first client that joined this program, which is Kensington and Chelsea. And with them, we managed to work out that actually they drive 23,000 miles a year going to these pay and display machines, collecting the money from these machines, maintaining these machines, replacing paper tickets, and doing all the maintenance work that's required across the estate to keep these running. And honestly, the truth is, most of the time, it's costing them more money to collect the money from the machines than they're actually removing from it. Incidentally, they lose £120,000 a year through theft from these machines as well. So that's a big side note for them to come on board. But that 23,000 miles a year, that's something which technology can easily replace. It's emissions from cars, it's tire and brake particles, it's congestion, which causes more idling, that can totally be removed by the use of technology. So they joined the program back in June this year. And the program is built on a simple premise. We work with you to reduce your pay and display machine estate, and in return, for every 10 machines that you have, we will donate 1 tree to the borough, which can be planted anywhere they like, and we will offset 1 ton of carbon through a verified project called the Portal Para Red, which is in the Amazon and helps combat deforestation. And we'll do that for every 10 machines they have in their estate. So at this moment in time, Kensington and Chelsea are working to decommission all 700 of the machines that are in their borough. So by the end of this year, we will have removed that 23,000 miles, and we will start to offset 70 tons of emissions through the Amazon project. But it doesn't stop there. We've got a number of other clients that we're speaking to, and by the end of this year, we expect another 3 major local authorities to join our program. It's helped generate a wide conversation. We have a number of clients coming to us that are existing, asking, how can we get onto this program? How can we work with you to reduce our estate? Because many of them aren't in the same position as a London borough, and they don't really understand today how they can transition from an environment where maybe 80% of their transactions are still going through the machine and only 20 through the app. And we've also had conversations with a number of non-clients who are now coming to us and saying, this is a great initiative, how do we get involved? And are now considering Pay by Phone as a supplier to enable them to become part of this program. And this launched only 7 months ago. And we expect that by the end of this year, Meters for Trees as a program will have contributed to the reduction of more than 12 tons of emissions throughout boroughs in the UK. We will have planted 230 trees in boroughs across the UK, and we'll have offset over 230 tons of carbon emissions through the Portel Para Red project. And we won't just do that once. We'll do that for every year that that client is with us as a partner. So some of these contracts that we have are lasting 3, 5, 10 years, and we will commit to that long term. Now, just to come back and to talk to you a little bit about clients that are smaller, that want to get involved, but actually don't know today how they can make that work. We're working with them to put together a plan to transition the number of transactions that they do from pay and display machines into the cashless parking app to get them to a position where they feel comfortable that they can start to decommission machines. We don't ask for them to do that from day one. All that we ask from them is that they have a plan that we can work together on over a period of time. Once that plan's in place, however, we will start the offsetting immediately. So that one ton for every 10 machines starts on day one, and we'll work with them over a period of years to reduce their estate. That makes it incredibly inclusive, because we have a number of clients already where the adoption of our product is quite high, and actually removing machines is of benefit to them and is a much easier process. But we have a lot of clients where adoption of our product is low, and they're able to use this as a driver to shift people's habits from traditional pay and display machines to cashless parking, with a goal to reducing those machines over time. I'm proud to say that we're the winner of 2 Global Green World Awards this year, and we've been nominated for a number of other awards throughout this year, both environmental and business, for this program. It's just the start, but we really hope that it's going to continue to grow over the coming years. So in summary, really for Pay by Phone, it was about developing a program, but it was also about moving environmental consciousness to the core of our decision-making process. This is something which we talk about now at every meeting. It's a feature of all of our agendas. And when we build new products and we build new initiatives, we ask ourselves the question of, how will this impact the environment? How can we change this? Is there anything that we can do to better drive this to our clients? And it will remain central to our ethos as we continue to grow. We've grown rapidly over the last 2 years alone, and we have plans to continue to grow rapidly over the next 2 years. These programs are built in a way where they're able to scale with the same size as the business. And it's really important that businesses match their growth strategies to a sustainability agenda. As I mentioned earlier, consumers are becoming more and more savvy around the green credentials of organizations. And it's important and it's imperative that long term, each and every business has an idea about how they're going to drive their product or service in that direction in the future. But actually, the one big takeaway is that not one organization can fix this problem on their own. It's a huge, huge, huge problem, global scale problem, unimaginable size. And we're just a small payments company. We have no infrastructure or very little infrastructure. We have no manufacturing process. We just have a really small team of people who love what they do and are keen to try and make a difference and continually look each and every day at how we can make it better. And I would urge each and every one of you in your own businesses to go back and look through the value chain and say, okay, how can we make a difference? What small things can we change? How can we drive the positive actions that we drive as a business to our clients and further down the value chain? Because we don't have all the answers. We've started a program which is in its infancy, and we hope that it's going to continue to grow over a number of years and we can continue to make a difference. But we're just one small organization that's making a start. We really believe that if each and every organization can make one small change, make one small impact across their entire value chain, then collectively we can make a huge difference to the sustainability of products and services and a huge difference to the climate emergency that's going on in the world today. And with that, I'd like to say thank you.